So you're thinking about moving to Colleyville, Texas. And if you're like most people, you want to know about the ins, outs, ups, downs, pros, cons, plus and minus of living in any city. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the key factors that will help you realize living in Colleyville, Texas is one of the best places to live in our Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. Are you ready? If you're able to watch one of the other videos I created of Colleyville, Texas, you were able to hop in the car with me. We drove around, we looked at the different areas of Colleyville so you can see what you can get for your budget. I get feedback that people really enjoy these tours because you know bedrooms, baths, you've got your budget. But to really have an experience with the lifestyle of living in a city, that's what you're really wanting. And I hear from people who are relocating to our Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, looking to move to Colleyville, and I get wonderful feedback, and that gives me great joy to be able to help you realize why Colleyville, Texas should be on your short list. If this is the first time to this channel, subscribe below, press the bell, and you'll be notified when anything is going down around town in our Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 weeks, we want to hear from you, we want to partner with you, and we'll help you discover which part of our DFW metroplex is the best place for you to create your memories and call home. Now, back to Colleyville, Texas. First, let me just give you a quick snapshot of Colleyville. Colleyville is one of the safest places to live in the entire United States. So if that's not a big draw, I don't know what else is. Well, maybe the cost of living, education. Okay, there may be a few more things. So let's just go by and tackle those one by one so you can get a better feel for what it's like living here. According to the U.S. Census, Colleyville has about 26,000 people who live here. Now, you know, that's a moving scale because people move and come and go almost every day. And in Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, they really come and they may get relocated to a new job, new state, so sometimes they go. But in Colleyville, we're noticing a slight decline in population, but again, that's because, you know, we're in Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. Another reason why we may have a slight decline is because Colleyville is somewhat landlocked. So you're not going to get acres of brand new communities that are entry-level communities. Yes, there's new construction, but the new construction typically is going to start at least, you know, upward, you know, $1 million plus, and that's on the modest end. Because Colleyville, the one thing about Colleyville that you'll notice that Colleyville, the median income is about 2 times the average income throughout the United States. So there is some wealth here, and with that, the home prices are also quite a bit higher than what you may find in some of the surrounding cities. So as far as cost of living, if you choose Colleyville, which I can't see why you wouldn't, but choosing Colleyville, as far as the cost of living, your biggest expense will be your home. If you're getting one with a lot of acres, then it's quite a bit more. But if you're interested in particular prices of homes, we'll talk about that later. Just comment below, call me, message me, and we'll get some details for you. But overall, the cost of living for Colleyville is going to be expensive. So for some, that's a plus. For others, maybe not so much. The other beauty of Colleyville, 95% of the people who live in Colleyville own their home. So that leaves us 5%. But Colleyville, you're not going to find apartment complexes. In Colleyville, that 5% is probably another home that's being leased. Here's another fact that's interesting about the city of Colleyville. 67% of the people have a bachelor's degree or higher. So when you combine the level of education, 95% of the people own their home, and the median household income is twice that of the national average. That's a recipe for a pretty strong, stable community. To me, that's a plus. Speaking of education, if you live in the city of Colleyville, this is where I'd advise you to know before you go. be very careful to know which school district your student might attend. Your student could go to Grapevine, Colleyville ISD, Keller ISD, Carroll ISD, HEB ISD, or Birdville ISD. And although these are very great school districts, it's important that you do your homework to decide which of these school districts is the best fit for you and your student. So before you purchase your home, make sure your home rests in the particular school district that you intend for your student to go. Now, as far as objective ideas, not my opinion, I used to be a school teacher, so I have strong opinions about education, but if you hop over to our Texas Education Agency website, you can see the results of each school districts broken down into various level of schools, elementary, middle, and high school, the standardized test results, socioeconomic breakdown, diversity, demographic, ethnic diversity. And as much as we like to believe that the only reason why we're looking at school districts is based on its academic performance, there are some people who look at it, well, for another reason, for its athletic performance. So if your child has been in select sports since they were in a diaper, then you might want to do research to determine which one of these school districts is the best support for your student's sport and to propel your child to a D1 school or something collegiate beyond high school sports. So let's take a quick peek at a map so you can get a visual of the different areas of Colleyville and which school district your student might attend. The students here attend Keller ISD. So if your home is positioned close to the city of Keller, your student might actually attend Keller ISD. So this is where we say no before you go, so you'll know whether or not the home you've selected is in the school district of your choice that best supports your student both academically and athletically. The next school district is Carroll ISD. So this serves the students who live in Southlake, but within the city of Colleyville, there's a very small pocket where their students also go to Carroll ISD. Carroll ISD has a stellar reputation of being one of the best school districts in the intrastate in Texas, and certainly in our Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. Now here is the city of Grapevine. I just want to show you the proximity of Grapevine. Grapevine is very close. It's right next to Colleyville. So Grapevine, Colleyville ISD, that's where most of the students will attend if you live in the city of Colleyville. Now, in the cost of living section of this video, we describe the more affordable areas of Colleyville. You know, you get to live in Colleyville, but yet it's the more affordable section. That's if you live near Euless or you live near Hurst. If you live near Euless or Hurst, your student would attend HEB, Hurst Euless Bedford ISD. And the last little school district, and it's not little, but the last school district that your student might attend is Birdville. And Birdville is close, or many of those people who live in North Richland Hills attend Birdville ISD. But like Carroll ISD, there's a very small pocket of students who live in the city of Colleyville that would attend Birdville ISD. Okay, so now that we got some of the major things out of the way, because if you're moving to an area, cost of living, you gotta know it. Is the area safe? You gotta have it, you gotta know it. And then education, that's pretty important. And now let's switch over to the things to do. You've decided Colleyville is checking every box, but what is there to do in Colleyville? So you've decided to live in Colleyville, Texas, which is wonderful, but there's really not a lot to do in the city of Colleyville. That's more of a boutique community. But what you're going to do is like what other people do. You're going to hop in your car and drive to the other cities that surround Colleyville, because in DFW Metroplex, you are going to have no shortage in things to do and places to go. So let's start out with the city of Fort Worth. Fort Worth is about 14 miles from the city of Colleyville. And Fort Worth is where you get more of our Western culture. There you will see a cattle drive, a particular time of day, particular day of the week. There's also Dickey's Arena where you have rodeos and other competitions. So if you haven't seen a real live cowboy, which you can see, well, almost anywhere in Texas, you will absolutely have a chance to see them in the city of Fort Worth, because that is our Western culture. We have Sundance Square, but you can actually get such a great experience with our cowboy culture, Western culture in the city of Fort Worth. The next city I want to take you to is the city of Dallas. So Dallas is only about 22 miles from the city of Colleyville. In Dallas, although it's not very far, you are going to want to get some type of toll tag, and frankly, anywhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, you're going to want to pay to use our roads, because otherwise 22 miles is going to feel close to forever to get around, because it's like any other major city, we have traffic. So yes, you're going to enjoy Dallas. There's so much culture there. There's so much shopping there, so much history there. Dallas is one of our more cosmopolitan areas of our DFW metroplex. So although there may not be a lot that you feel like you can do right there in Colleyville, you certainly can do plenty in Dallas. And one other feature, one other cool city that you are going to enjoy is the city of Arlington. Arlington is where you will go to AT&T Stadium and watch the Dallas Cowboys play. You'll also watch, if you're into baseball, the Texas Rangers. Globe Life Park is near AT&T Stadium, and AT&T Stadium is where you get the major concerts. And if you like to just hang out and watch the multiple screens, I mean, this is an experience. Check out Go to Texas Live. Now, closer to Colleyville, you have the city of Grapevine, which is about 6 miles from Colleyville. In fact, Grapevine and Colleyville really connect. Their cities are right next to each other. So Grapevine is where you'll have our vineyards. We have resorts there. There's a lot of shopping there. Grapevine is a pretty fun place to go to. So I know if you live in Colleyville, you're definitely going to Grapevine. Here's a very important point of interest in our DFW metroplex is obviously our Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, which is only about 5 miles away from the city of Colleyville. So you can't hardly beat that for convenience. Here is Lake Grapevine, which of course you're going to go there, enjoy hiking. You're going to enjoy the lake. It's very nice. It's beautiful. Then we also have the city of Southlake, which is where you'll experience more shops, more restaurants. We have Keller. There are a lot of great things to do near the city of Colleyville. And once you've explored those places, you can just come back home to your peace and your quiet. Colleyville, I would describe as rural sophistication. Your home is nestled amongst canopy of trees, but you can always leave your area to explore more of our Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. So as far as the location, I would give the city of Colleyville A+. Definitely one of the pros for living here. So now that you know some of the things you can do around Colleyville, Texas, now your question may be, how do I get around? Because a big metropolitan area, although it says it's 22 miles from Colleyville to Dallas, from border to border, what's the quickest, the best way to get there? And the way you're going to get there is by car. In Colleyville, Texas, there's no bus system. There's no public transportation. If you consider Uber, Lyft, or a personal driver as public, then there you go. You got it. But if you're considering a city bus, that's not going to happen in Colleyville. In fact, Colleyville, I like to describe Colleyville as being fairly insulated. Once you're in the residential sections of Colleyville, it's not very easy to get around. I mean, you're not going to zip through there and just hop over there, here or there very, very quickly. But there are a few major streets that'll get you around the city in the outskirts. But once you have to get in the city and in the residential sections, it's not easy to get around. Now that can be a plus. That can be a pro. Because if you live in Colleyville, do you really want everybody driving around in your city? So I'm sure that's by design, that it's not as easy to get around in Colleyville, Texas. So to some, that might be a con, that might be a negative. But trust me, the people of Colleyville see that as a plus. There are 3 main roads in and around Colleyville, Texas. There's Colleyville Boulevard, known as State Highway 26. Then there's State Highway 121 and Precinct Line Road. The Texas Rail Service is a commuter train, and you'll see the railroad crossing signs in different parts of Colleyville. These are no-horn trains that travel from downtown Fort Worth to Grapevine, North Richland Hills, and the DFW Airport. The train goes through parts of Colleyville, but it doesn't stop there. Remember, there's no public transportation in Colleyville, except if you consider Lyft, Uber, or maybe a personal driver. Colleyville Vintage Train also goes through the railroad tracks, and here's the neat thing about the Vintage Train. It's just a sight to see. The trains from Grapevine, the Vintage Train traveling through parts of Colleyville. Many of the retail businesses that you may see are located near Colleyville, but they're not actually in the city of Colleyville. They may be part of Grapevine, Hurst, Euless, North Richland Hills, or one of the surrounding cities. There's not a lot of retail within the city of Colleyville. However, Colleyville does have the town center of Colleyville and the villages of Colleyville. Now, here's a quick fact. If you ever find yourself in a game of playing Trivia Pursuit, Colleyville celebrates 12 award-winning parks and greenbelts. Hi, I'm Tracy with Tracy Sorrell Homes Group, and I trust you've enjoyed learning more about Colleyville and its pros and cons. Let's do a quick recap. Safety? Well, that's definitely a pro. Colleyville is one of the safest cities in the entire country. Location? Well, that's a pro and a con. It's insulated, which is a pro. It could be a con if you're expecting city transportation. Definitely, that's not what you're going to find in the city of Colleyville. Education? Spot on. That's a plus. That's certainly a pro. Cost of living? I would give it a pro because the property taxes are relatively low for the city of Colleyville, which offsets some of the higher prices that you will find for its homes. Cost of living? You're getting a pro because Colleyville is a bedroom community. There's just not a lot to do in Colleyville, but guess what? DFW Metroplex, hop in your car and drive wherever you go. But if you're looking specifically for a lot of variety and things to do in the city of Colleyville, well, I gotta give you a minus there. That would be a con. But overall, Colleyville, Texas is one of the best places to live in our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.